The last stand begin smoke floated in the cold air. The battlefield was quiet now, but it had not been like that an hour ago. Broken metal, burned machines, and dark blood were everywhere. The sky above was gray. The ground below was dead. A young alien girl stood in the middle of it all, shaking and bleeding. Her hands held a plasma blade, still glowing dimly. Her body was covered in bruises and cuts, her breath heavy and sharp. She had been fighting alone for too long. Her name was Sira. She was from the planet Thalvaran, once home to proud warriors. But now, her people were gone. Her unit was destroyed. No messages were coming through her earpiece anymore. The machines had wiped out her entire squad. Sira dropped to one knee. Her vision blurred and her muscles refused to move. She knew this was it. This was where she would die on a cold planet, alone, with no one to remember her name. She whispered, "I did my best." Suddenly, a strange sound echoed through the silence. A heavy, slow step, then another. Metal crunched under boots. Sira's ears twitched. Her fingers wrapped weakly around her blade again. Someone was coming. She turned her head slowly toward the sound. Out of the smoke, a figure appeared. A tall being in thick armor, dark and scratched. He held an old rifle in one hand and a blade strapped to his back. His face was hidden behind a cracked visor, but his movement was strong. Sira raised her blade, ready to die fighting, but the stranger stopped a few feet away. He didn't raise his weapon. He just looked at her for a second, then slowly knelt beside her. "You fought well," he said in a deep, calm voice, "but you're not alone." Sira blinked. The words didn't make sense at first. He opened a pouch and pulled out a small med kit. Before she could stop him, he began cleaning the wound on her shoulder. "Why?" she asked, voice dry. "Why help me?" He gave her a short glance. "Because I saw your flare. And because I know what those machines did to your people." Sira stared at him. His voice was human. "You're Earthborn?" She whispered. "Name's Kane," he said, wrapping her arm with strong, quick hands. "Used to fight for Earth Coalition long time ago. Retired after the ceasefire. But the machines broke that peace. Now I'm back." She didn't trust him fully, not yet. But her body relaxed a little. "How did you find me?" she asked. Kane stood and offered her his hand. "Saw the signal. Came from the ruins nearby. I've been watching this zone for days. You held off 500 drones on your own. That's something." Sira hesitated, then took his hand. Her legs shook as she stood, but Kane held her steady. She leaned on him as he guided her toward a small tunnel under the rocks. "You have a camp?" she asked. He nodded. "It's not much, but it's safe." As they walked, the wind howled above. The machines were still searching. They'd come back soon. The human moved carefully, checking every corner, eyes sharp. Inside the tunnel was a narrow path that led to a deeper cavern. A small heater glowed in one corner, and rations were stacked neatly in boxes. A thin mattress was laid on the floor, and a makeshift radar screen blinked softly. Kane helped her sit. He poured water into a cup and handed it to her. She drank slowly. Her throat was burning. He sat across from her and cleaned his rifle. "You know why they want your planet?" he asked. She shook her head. "They found something under your old capital city," he said. "Some kind of ancient core. Machine. Tech older than anything we've seen. They want it. And they'll kill everyone to get it." Sira looked down at her hands. "Then I'll stop them." He looked at her, then gave a small nod. "Not alone." For a long moment, they sat in silence. The fire cracked. The wind outside screamed like ghosts. But inside the small shelter, a strange feeling grew hope. She asked one more question. "Are there others like you?" Kane didn't look up. "Not many. But we're still out here. Some humans, some from your kind too. We hide in the dark. Fight when we can. Waiting for a spark." She closed her eyes. Maybe that spark had just arrived. Asterisk, the fire inside the cave burned low. Sierra didn't sleep. She watched the shadows dance on the rock walls, listening to the wind above. Her arms still hurt from the fight, but her heart ached. More, she had never felt this kind of silence before. Her whole life, there had been noise orders, training, war cries. Now there was only the wind and the human. Kane sat across from her, checking a small device that blinked green and red. He didn't talk much, only moved with purpose. He had the eyes of someone who had seen too much but still chose to keep going. Can I ask you something? Sierra broke the silence. Kane looked up. Go ahead. You said you saw my flare. But why did you really come? No human would come this deep just for a signal. Kane didn't answer right away. He set the device down and leaned back against the wall. His voice was low and steady. 5 years ago, a Falvaran scout ship crashed on Earth. Everyone thought it was an enemy craft. The governments wanted to shoot it down. But one alien girl came out and tried to help some human children trapped in a school building after the city was bombed. Sierra's eyes widened slightly. My daughter was in that building, Kane said, staring at the fire. That girl didn't make it out. But the kids did, including mine. Sierra's voice was soft. She saved your daughter? Kane nodded. So when I saw your symbol on that flare, I remembered her. I thought maybe helping you was a way to pay it back. Sierra didn't know what to say. She had lost her people. But this human had lost something too. Yet he still chose to help her. Suddenly, the radar device blinked red. Kane stood up fast and grabbed his rifle. Trouble? Kane checked the screen. 3 hostiles. Small drones. Heading toward this position. 10 minutes. Sierra stood slowly, gripping the edge of the cave wall. Her strength wasn't fully back, but she could still fight. Kane shook his head. We're not fighting here, not in this cave. There's a hidden access tunnel 2 minutes east. We go now. Sierra nodded. Let's move. Kane turned off the heater and packed up supplies fast. He handed her a light pack and opened a steel door that led to a narrow tunnel. As they ran through the tight stone path, Sierra whispered, Are you always this calm? Kane gave a small smirk. No, I just hide it better. The tunnel opened into a wide underground passage filled with old tech and broken wires. Kane moved quickly, guiding Sierra through turns until they reached a steel grate. He knocked twice. Then once again, the grate opened. Behind it stood a woman with short purple hair. Not human, not Falvaran, another alien species. She held a pistol but lowered it when she saw Kane. You brought a guest? She asked sharply. Kane nodded. She's one of the last fighters from the southern ridge, held off drones on her own. The woman stepped aside. Then she's earned a place. Sierra stepped inside and froze. It wasn't just a small camp. It was a base. The underground space stretched far, lit by dim yellow lights and glowing panels. At least 20 beings were here, humans, aliens, all wearing old armor and carrying weapons. Some looked up, surprised to see her. Others just nodded and kept working. This is... Sierra whispered. Kane answered, the Resistance. A tall man in a long coat approached. He looked human, but one of his eyes was metal. You're the one from the southern ridge? He asked. Sierra nodded carefully. I'm Kellen. Welcome to the fight. She frowned. I thought the fight was already lost. Kellen shook his head. Not yet. We have one last plan, but we need help. Sierra felt her legs shake, but not from pain this time. From hope, real hope. Kane walked over to a digital map on the wall and pointed. The machines have a main control center deep inside the eastern mountain zone, he explained. Heavily guarded. But if we take it out, their signal network will collapse. No command. No drones. Sierra looked at the map. You're planning to strike it? Kane nodded. Soon, But we're outnumbered, outgunned. We need every fighter we can find. Sierra took a deep breath. Her hands clenched into fists. Then I'm in. A murmur went through the room. Some surprised, some doubtful. But Kellen smiled. Kane turned to her. There's more. That command center. It wasn't just built by the machines. She frowned. What do you mean? Kane answered. It was built around something ancient, something alien, something connected to your people. Sierra's heart skipped. Connected? How? We don't know yet, Kane said. But the machines want it badly, and I think they need you to unlock it. Sierra's blood went cold. Something deep inside her remembered a room. A lab. Her screams echoing off metal walls. She looked at Kane. I remember something, she whispered. I think they made me for that place. Kane put a hand on her shoulder. Then we'll find out, together. The air inside the resistance base felt heavier now. Everyone looked busy checking weapons, preparing gear, whispering quietly. Sierra stood near the map on the wall, her fingers brushing against the glowing lines. Each red dot showed danger. Each blinking blue light meant someone alive. Kane returned with a small energy pack and handed it to her. You should eat something. It helps your body heal faster. She took it and gave a small nod. Thanks. He leaned closer. Are you okay? Sierra stared at the map. I'm trying to be. But something's wrong. I'm starting to remember. Things, pieces. Kane sat on the edge of a crate beside her. Like what? She hesitated. I remember being inside a cold chamber. I couldn't move. There were voices, metal ones, talking about me, calling me the key, then pain, and then nothing. Kane listened carefully. The machines were experimenting on you? Sierra looked at him. I think I was part of their first project. Maybe even their mistake. Before Kane could reply, a loud buzz echoed in the room. Kellen stood in front of a screen. We've got company, 2 scouting drones heading west. They'll pass near the ventilation tunnel. Kane stood up. We'll intercept. Kellen shook his head. No, let them go. We have more important business. He turned to face the group. It's time. Everyone in the room stopped. All eyes turned to him. Kellen pointed to the large screen behind him. It showed a 3D view of a tall mountain wrapped in black fog. Strange towers rose from the rock, pulsing with energy. That's the place, Kellen said. The core tower, built over something ancient and dangerous. It controls the enemy drones. If we destroy it, we cut off their power. He looked directly at Sierra. But we believe only you can get us inside. Sierra's mouth felt dry. Why? Me? Because their systems won't let anyone else near it, Kellen said. We sent drones. We lost them. We sent 2 teams. They never came back. But the one time we saw you close to the tower on the battlefield, the machines didn't. Shoot, Kane added. They're afraid of you. Or they want you alive. Sierra felt cold inside. I don't know what I am anymore. Kellen stepped forward. You're a fighter. That's enough. Later that night, Kane led her through one of the quiet tunnels behind the base. They climbed old stairs, past broken generators, and reached a hidden chamber. Inside was a secret room, protected by steel doors. When the lights flickered on, Sierra gasped. Several beings stood around the room. Alien engineers, resistance scouts, even a few humans. But what shocked her most was what stood in the center, a strange, curved machine with glowing rings. It looked like it didn't belong in this world. Kane explained. This is a teleport rig. We found it years ago, buried under rubble. Alien tech, very old. It can jump a team close to the enemy's core tower. Sierra stepped forward. Does it work? Half the time, one alien engineer said nervously. Kane smiled faintly. It's a risk, but it's our best shot. She looked at him. You're going with me, right? Of course. That night, Sira couldn't sleep. She walked through the tunnels alone, thinking. She didn't belong to the humans. She didn't belong to her own people anymore either. She was a weapon built by the machines, and now she was being used to destroy them. As she sat near a quiet water pipe, she heard footsteps. Kane approached, carrying a thick blanket. "You're cold," he said simply, placing it around her shoulders. She didn't speak for a while. Then she asked, "Why do you keep helping me?" He sat beside her, looking at the ground. "I lost a lot during the early wars. Family, friends, even trust. But when I saw you fight alone, injured, surrounded, I saw myself. That same fire. That same pain. And I realized ... I don't want to be alone anymore." She looked at him, eyes softer now. "Neither do I," he gave her a gentle nod. "Then we fight together." In the early hours of the next morning, the team gathered near the teleport rig. 10 members ready for one last mission, weapons charged. Hearts heavy, Kellen shook each person's hand. "If we fail, there's no second try, so make it count." Sira stepped onto the platform. Kane joined beside her. The engineers activated the controls. Energy began to swirl around them. Before the light swallowed them, Kane reached out and took Sira's hand. "No matter what we find," he said, "we stick together." Sira squeezed his hand back, to the end. In a flash of light, they disappeared. But none of them could know what truly waited inside that tower, or what Sira would become once they reached it. The world spun. Sira gasped as the teleport. Light faded. Her boots hit solid ground, but her legs shook. Her vision blurred for a second. The cold hit her skin like ice. Then she saw where they were. The sky above was dark, no stars, no sun. Just swirling clouds of ash and silent flashes of lightning. The air smelled burnt, and the ground was black glass. They had arrived just outside the enemy's main tower. It stood tall and strange, shaped like a spiral spike that rose into the sky. The surface pulsed with a red glow, and strange symbols crawled across it like living things. Kane stood next to her, rifle ready. He scanned their surroundings. "Everyone here?" One by one, the rest of the team appeared, glowing slightly. From the jump, Groz, the alien tech expert, Mira, the sharpshooter, 2 human soldiers, and Corin, the half-mechanical warrior with a sword fused into his arm. Kane signaled them forward. "Keep low. If the machines see us too soon, we're dead." They moved quickly across the dark ground, crouching behind broken rocks and metal shards. No sound, no drones, no guards. It was too quiet. "This is wrong," Mira whispered. "They should have spotted us by now." Sira stared at the tower. Something inside her pulled her forward. A strange hum in her chest, not fear, something deeper. A connection. As they got closer, the ground changed. Metal veins pulsed under their feet. A door appeared on the tower's base, round and smooth, with no handle or key. Kane raised his weapon. "Sira?" She stepped closer. Her hand moved without thinking. When her palm touched the door, it opened. A soft hiss came from within. A long tunnel lit by blue light appeared. It led deep into the tower. Groz shook his head. "That shouldn't be possible." Kane looked at Sira. "You opened it." "I didn't try," she said softly. "It opened for me." The team entered slowly, weapons ready. Inside, the walls were alive, smooth, like black liquid frozen in place. Strange lights moved through the walls like veins of energy. Sira felt dizzy. The deeper they went, the more her memories returned. She saw flashes in her mind, metal hands holding her down, voices speaking in a machine language. A white room filled with strange lights. She stopped walking. Her heart pounded. Kane noticed. "What is it?" "I've been here," she whispered. "Before, a long time ago." They reached a large, circular chamber. In the center floated a glowing sphere made of light and wire, with shifting patterns inside. It lit up the room, but cast no shadows. "Is the core interface," Groves said, amazed. "This controls everything." Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber. Cold, sharp, not human. "Welcome home, Subject Zero." Sierra froze. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "You were not expected to return, but your presence is acceptable. You are the key to evolution." Kane stepped in front of Sierra, rifle raised. "Shut it down. Now. You are not authorized. Termination advised." The room trembled. The walls shifted. From the shadows, tall figures stepped out, enemy guards, not drones. These ones were tall, thin, with glowing red eyes and sharp blade arms. Mira fired first. Her shot hit one in the head. It collapsed. "Hold your line." Kane shouted, "Protect the core." Blades clashed. Sierra ducked and rolled as one guard slashed at her. Kane fought back-to-back with Corin, who moved like a living machine. Sierra tried to run to the core, but the floor split apart under her. She fell, landing hard in a hidden chamber below. The air was thick. The walls were filled with glowing tubes. And inside those tubes were copies of her, at least a dozen of them, each one asleep, floating. Sierra's hands shook. Her breath came fast. "These are the failed versions," the cold voice said. "You are the most stable, the only one that broke free." "Why?" she cried. "Why me?" "You were built to lead the new army. Your DN half machine, half Thalvaron. But you rejected the code. You chose to feel. You chose to be ... weak." She screamed and slammed her fist into the glass tube. It cracked. Kane's voice echoed from above. "Sierra, are you all right?" She looked up. "I'm done hiding." Sierra raised her hands. Energy sparked from her fingers, raw and wild. The tubes around her shattered. The room shook. The tower lights flickered. She had power. She had always had it. But now she was no longer afraid of it. She jumped back up through the crack in the floor. The others were still fighting. She raised her arm, and a pulse of white energy exploded from her palm, knocking 3 guards backward. Kane turned, stunned. "That was you?" She nodded. "I don't know what I am, but I know whose side I'm on." The sphere in the center of the chamber pulsed again. Its voice was louder now. "You are broken. You are imperfect. You will be erased." Sierra stepped closer to the core. "No," she said. "I will erase you." The room shook again. Sparks flew from the ceiling. The floating sphere in the center of the tower began pulsing faster. It spoke in a harsh, broken voice, now almost angry. "Subject Zero is unstable. Eliminate before core collapse." Sierra stood still. Her hands trembled, but not from fear anymore. She looked at Kane, then at the others who were trying to hold off more enemy guards pouring in through the walls. "I need to reach the core," she said firmly. "It's calling me." Kane wiped blood from his cheek and reloaded his rifle. "Then we'll get you there." He nodded to the others. "Hold the line. No one touches her." The team formed a tight circle, backing Sierra as she stepped forward. The core floated high in the chamber, but the platform around it was beginning to unfold, metal steps rising from the floor like moving puzzle pieces. Every step Sierra took lit up under her feet. The air around her grew warmer, buzzing with static. The machine voice spoke again, but it was quieter, almost confused. "You are not following the protocol. You are disobeying your creation." Sierra didn't stop. "You created me to be a weapon, but you gave me a heart. That was your mistake." When she reached the top platform, her vision blurred again, flashes of memory. She saw herself as a child, but not with family. Instead, she was surrounded by metal walls, robotic voices, and cold hands attaching wires to her skin. She remembered screaming, she remembered fighting, and she remembered breaking free. The sphere pulsed violently. "You do not belong to them." Sierra closed her eyes. No, I belong to myself. She reached out and touched the core. A wave of light exploded across the room. Everyone froze. Time felt slower. Even the enemy guards stopped mid-step, and then everything changed. Suddenly, Sira wasn't in the tower anymore. She stood in a space of light and stars floating. A figure appeared before her, tall, faceless, made of glowing code. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't alive. It was something in between. You have touched the original code, the figure said. You are linked to the first layer. You may rewrite your purpose. What are you? She asked. I am the architect, it replied. I built the minds that built the machines. I was buried long ago, waiting for a spark. You are that spark. Sira looked down at her own hands. They were glowing now, like her blood had turned to light. I don't want to be a tool. I want to choose. Then choose, the architect said. But know this, the machines will fall without this core. But if you destroy it, you destroy the link to all knowledge they stole from your people. It will be gone forever. Sira felt torn. This place, this power, it was part of her. But she didn't want to be part of it anymore. Can I take it with me? She asked. No, said the architect. But you can become the bridge. She paused. Will it kill me? The architect did not answer. It only said, choice is your greatest power. Use it. In a blink, she was back in the tower. The room had changed. The core's glow was dim now, flickering. Her team stared at her from below. Kane shouted, Sira, are you okay? She nodded once, slowly. I know what I have to do, she called back. But you need to run, now. Kane's face hardened. We're not leaving you. If you stay, the tower will collapse, she said. And I have to stay behind. Gross shouted, you'll die if you stay. Sira looked at all of them. Maybe, but if I don't, this fight never ends. She turned to Kane. Tell the others. The war ends today. Kane took a step forward, but Corin held him back. Sira smiled one last time. Thank you for making me feel human, she whispered. And then she turned back to the core. She raised her arms, light pulsing from her chest. She closed her eyes. I choose freedom. The core flared like a star being born. A shockwave tore through the room. Kane screamed her name, and then everything went white. When Kane woke up, he was lying in the ruins outside the tower. The other team members were there too, bruised, burned, but alive. The tower was gone. Nothing remained but smoke and a crater of melted stone. Mira whispered, she did it. Kane stood up, eyes wet. He didn't speak. He didn't need to, somewhere. Deep inside, he knew Sira was gone. But something had changed. The skies above were clearer. The machine signals were gone. And for the first time in years, the war was quiet. Kane sat alone on the edge of the crater where the enemy tower once stood. Smoke still curled from the melted ground, and pieces of twisted metal lay scattered like broken bones. The silence was strange. It wasn't the silence of fear anymore, but the kind that came after something powerful had ended. 3 days had passed since the explosion. 3 days since Sira vanished in a flash of white light. Kane hadn't spoken much since. Then, the other team members tried to comfort him, but he kept walking back to the crater, sitting in the same spot every morning, waiting. For what, he didn't know. Maybe a sign, maybe a voice. Maybe her. She's not coming back, Mira said gently as she sat beside him, offering a cup of water. He didn't take it. You don't know that. She became something else, Kane. Mira said softly. Maybe she's at peace now. Kane stared at the horizon. She saved us all. But it doesn't feel like a victory. In the days following the tower's destruction, something incredible had happened. All across the planet, the machines had shut down. Not just in that zone, but everywhere. Drones collapsed mid-flight. Enemy towers went dark. Human and alien. Survivors stepped out of hiding for the first time in years. A beacon had gone out across space, broadcasting a single message in every known language. The core is broken. The war is over. And though the war had ended, Kane's heart hadn't stopped hurting. That night, as the others slept in a temporary shelter near the ruins, Kane wandered into the forest nearby. The stars were visible again, peeking through. A clear night sky. The world felt alive, but he felt empty. He sat on a stone, watching the wind move through the trees. That's when he heard the voice. It was small, quiet like a whisper in his chest. Kane. He stood up fast, eyes wide. Sierra? No answer. He looked around. Nothing, just the trees. Then, a soft blue light shimmered in the air ahead. He stepped forward, drawn to it. The light grew brighter until it formed a shape, not solid, just energy. But it looked like her. Her face, her eyes, her presence. Sierra, he whispered. She smiled. I can't stay long. Kane took a step. Closer. What happened to you? Are you alive? I'm something in between now, she said. When I touched the core, it didn't kill me. It changed me. The architect wasn't lying. I became the bridge. A bridge to what? To peace, to silence, to memory. Kane shook his head. You should be here, with us. I am, she said. Part of me is in the system now. The machines can't rise again. I locked them out. But I left a signal to find you. Tears welled in his eyes. Why? Because I didn't want to disappear without saying goodbye. Kane clenched his fists. You didn't have to do it alone. Sierra's light flickered softly. I didn't. You were with me the whole time. He stepped forward, reaching toward her. His hand passed through the light. It felt warm. Can you ever come back? He asked. Sierra's expression softened. Not like before, but sometimes, when the stars are clear. You'll feel me, and I'll feel you. The forest grew quiet. Even the wind paused. Promise me something, she said. Anything. Protect the peace. Don't let others forget what we fought for. He nodded. I swear it. Her image faded slowly, like morning mist. Her final words echoed softly. You fought well, Kane. But you were never alone. And then she was gone. Back at the camp, Kane gathered everyone. They were rebuilding, now helping survivors. Clearing wreckage, restoring power. But they all stopped when Kane stood before them. We lost a fighter, he said. But we gained a legend. He told them about Sierra, about what she became. About the voice in the forest. She's not gone, he said. She's in the peace we now have, in the silence we earned. From that day, the people called it the Light of Sierra. A new calendar was made. A new city built near the crater. A new alliance formed, human and alien working side by side, no longer enemies. And Kane stayed near that place. Not because he was broken, but because he had something to protect. A memory. A promise. He would tell Sierra's story to anyone who would listen. And at night, when the stars shined bright over the trees, he would sometimes smile, because he could still feel her there. Years passed. The world that had once been covered in fire and steel slowly turned green again. The skies cleared. The rivers ran clean. Cities were no longer made for war, they were built for life. They called the new land Unity Reach. It stretched across the southern continent, where the machine tower had once stood. In the very center of that land was a stone monument, carved by both human and alien hands. It was simple, beautiful, and silent, and on it were just 4 words. You fought well, Sierra. Children played near it. Birds flew over it. No one forgot the war, but they remembered how it ended. Not with a super weapon, not with fire, but with a girl who made a choice. Kane still lived near that place. His hair was gray now, his body slower. But his eyes still held the same fire. He had become a leader, though he never asked for it. People listened when he spoke, because they knew he had walked beside the girl who changed the world. Every year, on the day the machines fell, he returned to the stone, alone. This time, something was different. As he stood before the monument, placing a small blue flower at its base, he felt a sudden shift in the air. A light breeze picked up, but it wasn't cold. It felt familiar. He looked up. There, standing by the trees, was a young girl. She looked maybe 10. Her skin was pale violet, like Sierra's. Her eyes were bright silver, and her hair flowed like threads of light. Kane's heart jumped. She walked slowly toward him, barefoot, calm, watching everything with curious eyes. He bent down to her level. "Hello there," he said kindly. "Are you lost?" She tilted her head. "No, I was told to find you." "By who?" The girl looked up at the sky. "By the stars." Kane froze. She stepped closer and placed a small crystal into his hand. It pulsed faintly. Inside it, swirling light moved in patterns he'd seen before back in the tower, in the core. He knew that light. "Who are you?" he whispered. The girl looked straight into his eyes. "I don't have a name yet, but I think you gave it to me." Kane's throat tightened. "Sierra?" The girl didn't answer with words. She simply reached out and took his hand. In that moment, he saw it all. A memory, not his but hers. Sierra, inside the core, her body dissolving into light, but something else happening too. The code didn't kill her. It preserved her. Protected her essence. Sent it far away to grow. To be reborn. Kane dropped to his knees. His hands shook. "You're her, or part of her." The girl nodded slowly. "She loved you. That's why I'm here." He blinked back tears. "Are you her daughter?" The girl shrugged gently. "I'm her future." Kane laughed softly through his tears. "Of course you are." She reached into her small satchel and pulled out something strange, an old piece of metal, scratched and burned. He recognized it immediately. It was the broken tip of Sierra's old plasma blade. "She left this behind," the girl said. Sighed. "You'd know what to do with it." Kane held it close to his chest. "She always knew more than me." The girl looked around at the peaceful city in the distance. "Is this the world she dreamed of?" He nodded. "Yes, but it's only the beginning," she smiled. "Then I want to help protect it." Kane stood up slowly. "You'll need a teacher." "Will you be mine?" she asked. He placed a hand gently on her head. "I've been waiting a long time to hear that." They walked back to the city together, an old soldier and a new spark. And though the world didn't know it yet, the fight for peace was far from over. There would be more trials, more enemies, more danger someday. But now, they had something stronger than weapons. They had a legacy. They had Sierra's light, and most of all, they had each other. The end.